年多前，我提出了“一带一路”倡议，3年多来，已经有100多个国家和国际组织积极响应支持，40多个国家和国际组织同中国签署合作协议，“一带一路”的朋友圈正在扩大。可以说，“一带一路”倡议来自中国，但成效惠及世界。
你好，一带一路。
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 中国福建、
俄罗斯、
叙利亚、Pakistan、
Belarus、
České republiky、
Indonesia、
Kazakhstan、
老挝、
Philippines、
土耳其、
Uzbekistan、
越南、柬埔寨、
匈牙利、
马来西亚、
Turkmenistan。
我是蒙古国的。
我来自卡塔尔。
马尔代夫。
我来自巴林。
埃及、
Bhutan、
Bosnia and Herzegovina、
Bulgaria、
Tunis、
新加坡、
Georgia、
Sri Lanka、
Timor Leste。
我是塔吉克斯坦人。
China is well-being and economic.
China is full of beautiful, kind, and talented people.
With a lot of tradition, a lot of history, and a lot of wonderful monuments and heritage.
China is great with capitology.
Magnificent.
I'm very much overwhelmed by its colorful and lively traditions.
我喜欢中国人。我喜欢中国文化。
Amazing, influential,
Wonderful, luxurious,
Ambitious yet humble.
Inexplicable.
complicated, unique,
Fascinating.
illustrious,
Wonderful. Respectful.
一个字，超赞。
我喜欢中国。我爱中国。
Chinese people are really very nice people, and I will come again to China.
I think One Belt, One Road project can really strengthen the infrastructural development of my country.
Together with China government, we're going to create more workspaces, new facilities, and a logistics center.
In my opinion, Indonesia is set to benefit the most from this project. It will create employment opportunities not only for Indonesian but also for the nation along the Belt Road.
Oversee One Belt, One Road from China. The first station is in Malaysia, which is Malacca.
It will boost the economic cooperation and trade cooperations with other countries.
This program is a really good chance for the country to stronger its ties to other countries around the Silk Road.
There will be more chance for China and Turkey to be together in this project.
This experience should continue because it helps to develop not only economy but the human relationship as well.
China is building 21st century maritime sea road through Southeast Asia and Europe. Vietnam greatly values a stable relationship with China.
I believe that the project will be continue to have a good cooperation and to develop the economic between this country and to create job opportunity for young Cambodians.
Hungary was the first European country to sign the agreement for One Belt, One Road project, and Hungary hopes to further cooperate closely with China.
One Belt and One Road is a really good policy for my country. It's not only the economy, it's a good with good for our culture.
Besides economic advantages, I hope there will be a lot of initiatives and also projects will be implemented in terms of the preventing and promoting intangible and tangible cultures.
Discuss about the initiative of One Belt One Road, which will open the link between Kunming in China and one of the major cities, Mandalay in Myanmar.
Pakistan has a very important role in One Belt and One Road initiative, economically and geographically as well. It will provide business opportunities, trade and employment not only to Pakistan but all the participating countries.
I think that Poland could benefit from it to a great extent, especially the city called Łódź.
The decision that you will make at the Belt and Road Initiative Forum will play a significant role on the development of civilization along the Silk Road.
I would like to ask the leaders to be open-minded and remember that they are serving the people who need their countries to be allied and friendly with China and other neighbors.
Together we build One Belt, One Road.
معا نبني طريق الحرير.
معا نبني طريق الحرير.
Behas hitamo sidida.
Zajedno gradimo pojas i put.
Pagardaba da urešamo larđorovu.
Napravimo novi put svima.
建设一带一路，我们在一起。
Vizsgje جبتجومن برجلس.
وبعمل بيدور شو يوصل مشروع ثاني.
معا نبني طريق الحرير.
مياسين منك استخدموا منك مك قطية بمك جانا باره.
معا سنبني طريق الحرير الجديد.
Together we build One Belt, One Road.
If you look at the people's livelihood first, which is practiced also along the BRI, the famous slogan behind if a country wants to become better off, rich, building the road first. Yeah. So they will also say building the internet first. So this road infrastructure and this internet infrastructure are carried out together, simultaneously. So this reflects Chinese thinking of to produce tangible benefits for the people. Now, within China, as it's a continental country, a civilized state, it's huge. Within China, we adopt what's called opening up at home and abroad. Open up the home, which means try to take down whatever interior domestic barriers between provinces, between municipalities, promote trade, interchanges between different communities, between provinces, and opening up and abroad, which is an open door policy for other countries. If you look at China's BRI initiative, again, we encourage, say, African countries to open up among themselves. A good example is because China was criticized by Western media as practicing so-called neo-colonialism, which is a bit unfair. The old colonialism, the UK knows better than me. For instance, if you want to fly from Western Africa, Ghana, to East Africa, to Kenya, you have to go via London. That's how we do this LV networks. China today is helping Africa to do this regional traffic network, whether it's air, road, and harbor for the region itself. So no colonial country supports regional integration. Yeah, we know divide and rule. That's how it's practiced by the older colonies. But China can unite and prosper. We encourage local integration, and we can provide help. And then number 3, consultative democracy. That's crucial. Yeah. And in the process of BRI, it's called discussing together, building together, benefiting together. And in other words, out of your own interest, you join this BRI rather than China compel you, force you to do it. If you're not interested, you don't need to come. So this is really very democratic, which is actually makes things moving faster with this new approach. Now, number 4, a neutral and pro-development state. In the case of BRI, this is also important. China emphasized repeatedly the importance of the UN Charter, non-interference in each other's internal affairs. There's a huge demand for development. If you look at the statistics, we found that in Asia alone, not to mention other continents, there is almost $2 trillion demand for infrastructure per year. Even BRI can only meet part of it, or small part of it, up to this scale. There's a huge potential that we can explore. The point is, the old global governance structure failed to take into consideration demands from developing countries. And China thinks that we can fill this kind of gap with our capability, and we can supply the demand we can supply. And then 5, a sense of priorities and sequences. In other words, in the BRI initiative, we are not doing something in the massive scale simultaneously. We have clear priorities. Certain countries are priority countries, we have pivot countries. Certain projects are pivot projects, pivot countries. In China's reform openness, we started with 4 special zones, Shenzhen, etc. as an experiment. We have priority given to these zones. When they try out different tests, experiments successful, they extend elsewhere. And then, number 6, a lot of complaint about BRI is how elusive, how vague. You even don't have a clear borderline, clear membership requirements. So everything can be put into BRI, whatever. Every country can be a member of BRI. If you look at China's 40 years of reform, we start with something similar. There's something simply said, we need to reform and open it up. We don't have a roadmap. But importantly, we have a compass. We know the sense of direction. The orientation is very clear. The orientation in the case of China reform is fighting poverty. We can try out all kinds of ways and means. In the end, we should also do fighting poverty. But interestingly, as we go by in the process of this kind of development, in due course, some roadmap will emerge, some clearer model will emerge. The case with rise of China. We put officially this model, mixed economy, socialist market economy, in the year 1992, which is already 14 years into China's reform process. So I'm pretty sure as the BRI has already started, on the whole, more positive than negative. Perhaps 5-6 years into the program, into the initiative, a more tangible roadmap will emerge, will come out, a model will come out. And then number 7, building bridges between old and new. What does it mean? Because in China's long process of reform, a typical feature is, I take the state-owned sector as an example. The state-owned sector is not easy to reform. So China adopted a strategy which is, I think, wise. We started to create a dynamic private sector and then connect this with the less dynamic state sector and then make them to interact with each other. So that's also applied in the BRI initiative. For instance, Russia has its own what's called the Eurasian Economic Union, which is an ambitious plan. China said you don't need to change your plan. We try to make BRI initiative more or less adaptable to your program. Let's see what we can do together. Let's see how the 2 programs can match with each other. So that's how we work out with different countries, with different programs, different plans. And then creating new space for growth. This is also important. The challenge we say in 新的经济增长点 you have to find where you can find the potential for new growth. If you go to any region of China, local corridor, in this particular part of China, this new space of growth in this line of industry, that line of industry, so it's the country dynamic. And lastly, what's more important, how to shape and what we call irresistible trend. That's not the view of Chinese government, it's my view as a scholar. And I think the Chinese philosophy is not playing chess, it's playing what we call the Go. Yeah. It's about how to create a trend which becomes inevitable. Others will join you by simply out of its own interests rather than resisting this trend. And this trend is gradually taking shape. It's like China relations with the United States, with Europe, with other countries. The United States want to fight a trade war with China, but we think it's very difficult because it's hugely beneficial for both countries. You want to cut off relationship, the United States will suffer badly. So this is the reason when you have a big trend, overall trend, there's no need to stop it.
China's Belt and Road Initiative has attracted a lot of attention worldwide. It reminds me of three things. First, the Schuman Plan of 1950 for Europe. As we all know, European history was full of wars. After the Second World War, French Foreign Minister then, Robert Schuman, thought that it's time to end this unfortunate history of wars in Europe. And he saw that to launch wars, you need coal and steel. So he proposed that major European powers like France and Germany administer and operate coal and steel industries together, from manufacturing to marketing to distribution. In 1951, 6 European countries, including France and Germany, signed a treaty to create the European Coal and Steel Community, which was the precursor to the European Union, the EU. The EU now is in deep trouble today, but we can't deny that it has played a very positive role in preventing wars in Europe. Looking forward into the future, I expect China's Belt and Road Initiative, given the size and scale of this initiative, will have much greater impact for world peace and prosperity than the Schuman Plan for Europe. Second, since Christopher Columbus discovered, if I may still use this word, the Americas in 1492, European powers began to rise through colonization, which also saw the rise of the maritime and coastal regions in the world, and the decline of the land-based civilizations, including the Silk Road. The West rose to world dominance through bloody wars in the next hundreds of years, which also witnessed the rise of the maritime and coastal civilizations, if I may call, which is still evident today as all the developed regions in the world remain distributed along the coastal areas of the world with easy access to shipping and harbors. What does the Belt and Road Initiative launched by China today mean for the world in this context? It's likely to revive land-based civilizations. Along the new Silk Road routes, there are over 60 countries, a total population of 4 to 5 billion people. If maritime coastal civilization has given rise to prosperity, however costly, in the world for several hundreds of years, then a revival of land-based civilization may well generate a lasting impact on growth and unprecedented more opportunities for development for at least 30 to 50 years. It will mean a rebalance of land-based civilization with maritime coastal civilization, which will be very positive for world economy and for world peace. Thirdly, discussions today on international relations and global governance are still permeated with the concepts of geopolitics and geoeconomics, which unfortunately are in most cases zero-sum games. Hopefully, The Belt and Road Initiative launched by China will change that kind of mindset and analytical framework, will change the geopolitical, geo-economical mindset from this kind of mindset into one of the win-win mentality for global governance. China's proposal of discussing together, building together, and benefiting together represents a new mentality, new mindset, new approach to global governance and globalization. The Western media are criticizing China for practicing what they call the new colonialism in Africa. But most Africans don't buy this, don't take it. In the first place, China does not have a colonial past or legacy. If you are familiar with Africa, if you were to travel from Nigeria in West Africa to Kenya, East Africa, for a very long time in the past, you had to travel via London because the British Empire built their colonies pivoting around London, towards London. But China is different. China listens to Africans, is ready to assist Africans to build an intra-Africa transportation network of highways, railways, and airways on the basis of win-win cooperation and mutual benefit. Behind this is the Chinese mentality for global governance in dealing with all kinds of challenges to mankind, from fighting poverty and terrorism to handling climate change and financial crisis. Rather than divide and rule of the colonial mentality, China is believing unite and prosper. China does this at home and promotes this idea and practice abroad. In this context, Chinese leader Xi Jinping is right when he says that the old winner-takes-all mentality and the beggar's eye neighbor approach should be abandoned. We should all work hard to push for an open, inclusive, balanced, and win-win globalization in the interest of building a community of shared interest, shared future for mankind. This is the right philosophy for the future of global governance, for the future of globalization. And the Belt and Road Initiative is a major experiment in this direction, which is bound to affect all in the decades to come.